You've absolutely been caught doing it. Muttering to yourself in the car, arguing with the air while doing the dishes, or narrating your entire grocery list down aisle 4. Society tells you it's weird. People give you that look. But psychological research bestows a massive misconception about the human brain. Talking to yourself out loud isn't a glitch, it's actually a rare cognitive anomaly shared by some of the highest IQ individuals in history, including Albert Einstein. There is a precise neurological reason your brain literally forces you to speak to an empty room. And if you've been forcing yourself to stay silent because you're embarrassed, you might accidentally be suppressing your greatest intellectual advantage. Here is exactly what is happening inside your brain the second you start talking to nobody. For your entire life, you've been conditioned to believe that vocalizing your thoughts in an empty room is a giant red flag. Think about the sheer panic that washes over you when you're caught mid-sentence by a roommate walking in or another driver pulling up next to you at a red light. You instantly pretend to be singing along to the radio or aggressively checking your phone. The societal stigma is brutal. We are taught to associate self-chatter with erratic behavior, instability, or just plain losing your mind. So, what do? You swallow your words. You force your brain to keep everything trapped inside a silent, chaotic echo chamber. But here is the massive problem with that. When you suppress the urge to speak your thoughts out loud, you are actively suffocating your brain's natural filtration system. The average human brain processes up to 80,000 thoughts every single day. That is a relentless, overwhelming flood of abstract data, anxieties, tasks, and complex ideas, all competing for your limited attention at the exact same time. When you try to organize all of that silently in your head, your working memory hits a severe bottleneck. It's exactly like opening 100 heavy tabs on your web browser and wondering why the entire system is crashing. By forcing yourself to stay quiet just to look normal to a society that doesn't understand neurology, you are artificially lowering your own effective IQ. You're causing your own brain fog and making basic problem solving 10 times harder than it has to be. But let's flip the script for a second. What if total silence is actually the brain's default low-energy mode? Scientists recently ran clinical tests to see what happens when we stop treating self-talk like a psychological defect, and the results completely shattered everything psychiatry thought it knew. It turns out, if you never talk to yourself out loud, that is the actual cognitive disadvantage. When you speak a thought out loud, you are literally hacking your brain's processing speed. Neurologists call this the auditory feedback loop. If you just think about a problem, it relies on one single neural pathway. But the second you vocalize it, you force your brain to translate abstract thought into language, command your facial muscles to produce the sound, and then use your ears to hear it back. You just turned a single-lane dirt road into a multi-sensory superhighway. Your brain is now processing the exact same piece of information through 3 different cognitive channels simultaneously. It makes the data sharper, more concrete, and instantly easier to manipulate. But boosting your processing speed is just the warm-up. The truly mind-blowing part is what vocalizing does to your actual, physical reality. Psychologists at the University of Wisconsin conducted a massive visual experiment. They gave subjects a list of random items to find in a chaotic, cluttered environment. Half the group had to search in total silence. The other half was told to repeat the names of the items out loud. The results weren't even close. The people talking to themselves found the items significantly faster. Why? Because hearing the word out loud acts like a neurological spotlight. When you say the word keys, your brain's language center fires a signal directly to your visual cortex. It literally enhances your eye's ability to perceive that specific shape in the physical world. You aren't just thinking better, you are physically seeing better. But finding lost keys is basic. What happens when you apply this mechanism to complex, high-level intelligence? Look at the daily habits of historical geniuses. Albert Einstein was infamous for repeating sentences to himself softly while pacing his office. He wasn't doing this because he was eccentric. He was utilizing a highly advanced cognitive tool called externalized self-regulation. When you face a massive problem, your internal monologue naturally gets emotional. You feel stressed, overwhelmed, or stuck. But when you speak the problem to an empty room, you create immediate psychological distance. You trick your brain into thinking it's analyzing data from a third party. It strips away the panic and leaves behind cold, hard logic. But here is the catch. Not all self-talk is created equal. In fact, there is one highly specific type of self-talk that separates the actual geniuses from everyone else. And if you use the wrong pronoun when you speak to yourself, you are actively sabotaging your own intelligence. Psychologists at the University of Michigan discovered a neurological phenomenon known as self-distancing, and it all comes down to a single word. When most people talk to themselves, they default to the first-person pronoun. They say, "I am so overwhelmed," or "How am I going to figure this out?" But when you use the word I, you trap your brain inside its own emotional bias. You actively amplify your anxiety and suppress your prefrontal cortex, the exact area of the brain responsible for logical problem solving. But when you switch that pronoun to you, or even better, address yourself by your own actual name, everything changes. You can figure this out. Sarah, you need to focus. The second you speak to yourself in the second or third person out loud, your brain undergoes an instant, measurable shift. You rapidly deactivate the amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center, and trick your neural networks into believing you are simply giving advice to a close friend. You strip away all the paralyzing emotion, the self-doubt, and the mental fog, unlocking pure, unfiltered cognitive clarity. You literally become your own smartest mentor. This is the ultimate hallmark of high intelligence. It is the rare ability to step outside of your own limited perspective, externalize your chaotic thoughts, and command your reality through spoken language. The greatest polymaths, inventors, and thinkers in human history didn't achieve greatness by sitting in a state of quiet, polite suppression. They muttered, they debated the invisible space in front of them, and they relentlessly vocalized their way through the most complex problems the world had ever seen. So, the next time someone catches you talking to an empty room, do not shrink down. Do not pretend you are singing along to the radio, and stop letting a society that fundamentally misunderstands human neurology make you feel embarrassed for how your brain naturally operates. You are not glitching. You are not losing your mind. You are instinctively utilizing one of the most powerful, evolutionarily advanced cognitive tools in existence. You are firing on all cylinders, turning a chaotic mental bottleneck into a brilliant, multi-sensory superhighway. Never apologize for thinking out loud. In fact, vocalizing your thoughts is just the first step in unlocking your brain's full potential. Highly intelligent people use an entire arsenal of these hidden neurological triggers to command their reality. There is actually another subtle cognitive habit, one you probably engage in every single morning without realizing it, that is either secretly priming your prefrontal cortex for absolute focus or completely destroying your cognitive baseline for the rest of the day. If you want to know exactly what that habit is and how to weaponize it, click the video